You can do preschool at home. How did I do preschool? I'd love to share with you how I've done that, the best resources I have. And I'm going to share with you 5 things that I feel like you need to focus on when you're working with your 3 to 5-year-old. Hey guys, if you're new here, I'm Ashley. I'm a homeschool mom of 3, and I've been teaching them for about 4 years, and I love preschool. Let me tell you, like, when you get to the preschool stage, the 3 to 5-year-olds, I love it. And in our family, I love using the Charlotte Mason method and style, and I've been reading about her since I started homeschooling. And I really think that that is one of the best. I won't say the best because there's lots of great methods out there, but the one that works best for our family and one of the best ways to homeschool your small children. So let's get started. I want to tell you 5 things to focus on. It's going to be easier than you think it is, and you're going to get to the end of this video and think, wow, I can do that. I can do this. I can homeschool my child. So let's get started. Number 1, the first thing I want you to focus on is good habits. I'm going to start with this one right off the bat because with your child, if they're 3, 4, 5, they don't need to be sitting down at a desk writing down 2 + 2 = 4, a noun is a person, place, or thing. They are not at that age ready to be sitting down for long periods of time. Am I right? Have you noticed this with your child? I have. But starting with good habits, this is key to Charlotte Mason's methods. And some of these habits would include the habit of attention. Right? I was just saying that they're not ready to sit still for very long. That's because they need to build their attention muscles. A 3, 4, 5-year-old does not have those muscles built, and they're not going to build them by accident. They're really not. So you want to start building good habits of attention, getting them to sit down and listen to a story or to you reading to them, getting them to sit still and color for a long period of time, and even working on not having a lot of screen time. And I know in our day and age with technology, I'm not going to say no screen time, but at this age, you want to really, really, really limit their screen time. You also want to train them to play by themselves. So having a regular quiet time every day, it does not have to be long, like an hour long or so. I wish it was, but I know realistically 10 to 30 minutes I would recommend. So that would be giving them a set of small toys, a busy bag, a stack of books. My son, my 2-year-old, loves books. He will sit and just page through the books for a while now. That's another way to build their attention muscles. The other habit I would recommend working on and focusing on would be to obey right away. And again, this is something that our children do not do automatically. They have to be trained. However you do discipline with in your family and with your husband, I would suggest working on that and how you can work on teaching your kids to obey right away. And another habit that I'm going to mention would be good manners. And this is practiced day by day, repeating them to them over and over. They need to learn to say please. They need to say thank you. They need to say yes ma'am, yes sir, or yes mommy, yes daddy. As your boys get older, they can learn to open the doors for girls or women. They need to learn to let the older people go first when you're walking inside a store or whatnot. The appropriate level of activity and volume of voice in public places, when you go to the library or when you go to the grocery store. So I would make this your regular focus for your children at this preschool age. You don't necessarily need a curriculum for this. This is just everyday life that you are focusing on to train your children to have good habits. And lastly, another great habit is to put things away after you're done using them. And I will be honest, I, as a mom and homemaker, struggle with this myself. So as I am training my children to do it, I'm training myself to do it. And it's been almost doubly hard, but if you're one of those moms who's great at that, great. Just use your wonderful skill of putting things away and train your kids to do that. But if not, if you're like me, just do it and make it a daily habit. Start small. When the toddler brings out their bag of toys, you tell them they need to put away before they get something else out. My daughter is also not very good at this. We're still working on this and probably will for a long time. She's my artist. She's my crafty girl. So I'm training her to put away her craft supplies when she's done with a project, which if you're an artsy kind of person, you know those projects are not always completely done, but we're working on that. My middle son, thankfully, he's really good at this. So he's my cleaning boy and he knows where everything goes. All right, so number 2, thing that you need to focus on would be memory work. And for me, as a Christian homeschool mom, the first thing we memorize is scripture, Bible verses. This is the great time to focus on it at this age because, guys, their mind is a sponge and it just soaks it up like a little beautiful soaking up machine. And let me tell you this, our kids are going to be memorizing something. Is it going to be Paw Patrol theme song, or are they going to be learning scriptures that is truth and it's good and it's beautiful? I've realized that this is the time that you need to focus on putting those scriptures before your kids so they can hide them in their heart, and that it's not, let me tell you this, it's not to show everybody, oh, look, my son can say the catechism, or look at all the scriptures that my son knows. You know, it's not about that, to pat us on the back, to say, what a good job, Mom, that we're doing. It's more for their minds, so they can learn the truth and they can memorize good things that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. Through the preschool years, we focused on memorizing Psalm 1, Psalm 23, the 10 Commandments, the Catechism, and the Lord's Prayer. And I know that sounds like a lot, but you're not going to do all of these all in one sitting. You do a little bit at a time. You do one verse a week or one line a week. And while they're memorizing scripture, you can be sharing Bible stories with them. And it's great to start teaching this to your kids. Our favorite that I've used is Leading Little Ones to God and the Jesus Storybook Bible. Those are two books that I can highly, highly recommend, that if you've not found them already, that you need to go out and get them now. So that was focus number 2. Focus number 3 goes along actually with number 1, the good habits. Number 3 is chores and self-care. And this one, guys, they don't come out of the womb knowing how to dress themselves. They don't come out of the womb knowing how to brush their teeth, make their bed, brush their hair, take a bath. You know, all these things they have to learn. When you're laying down good habits, this is a great age to teach this. And I know moms that it's a little frustrating because, especially at this age, they need you there the whole way. You know, they need you to stand next to them while they're getting dressed. They need you to stand next to them while they're brushing their teeth. But let me tell you that the hard work you put in the time in training your children to do that and do it well, it will pay off as they are older, because I promise you they're not going to be having you brush their teeth for them for the rest of their lives. They're gonna grow up. They will, I promise. My 7-year-old can do most of her self-care chores. Even my 5-year-old, he actually learned it a lot quicker than she did, but they can now take care of themselves, and they do their morning jobs every morning. And we use an acrostic. We call it bunnies make good pets. B is brush teeth. M is make your bed. Good is G, and that was, get dressed. Good pets. P is pick up your clothes, because I train them after they take their clothes off. Where do those clothes? They need to go somewhere, not on the floor, right? They either put them back in their drawer if it's not that dirty, or they put it in the laundry chute. So things like that. Find an acrostic for your family, for the kids to remember, B, bunnies make good pets. I have to do those 4 things. Or you could do pictures, you can do visuals, you can do a chore chart stuck on the fridge or in their bedroom or in the bathroom. And I'll share with you my favorite resources below about those self-care chores that they can do at this age. The other thing with self-care is the chores. Guys, kids need to work, and you need to just let go your sense of control right now, and you need to realize that they will not learn how to do it unless you train them to do it. And again, this is another thing where they're gonna have to come alongside you and do it with you for a while before they can do it on their own. But again, mama, this will pay off in the future. I promise, because my 7-year-old is getting there. She's getting there to be able to do more things on her own without me, such as the laundry. I'm almost gonna be able to pass that on to her very soon. Yay, so excited. So in our homeschool day, I have about half an hour to an hour chunk set aside of time that we focus on self-care and chores. And I call that part of my school. I am not stressed out. Correction. I used to be stressed out that was taking so much time and we weren't getting to our school books, and it was driving me a little nuts. But when I realized that at this age, this should be the focus of their time so they can learn to take care of the home and be servants for the family, then I just added it to our day, and I am way less stressed out because We all do chores at the same time, and it gets done, and they're learning. They're doing so much better with their jobs. They're learning to take care of the house and be good stewards of what we have. That was focus number 3. Our focus number 4 is, I'm gonna put this in there, phonics and math. This isn't your first focus. It's technically probably your last focus, but it is a focus. You can teach your kids to read at this age. Why not? But you're not gonna be aggressive with it and do flashcards every single day. You're really not. Phonics and math is not an everyday thing for preschool. I'm just gonna say that right off. If you get 2 days a week, you're doing a great job, mama. I would say 2 to 3 days at this age is a great amount of actual lessons for your child. I know some of us are super excited to sit down and do school with our kids, but we have to remember that they don't really need long lessons. They need more everyday life exposure than they do like a textbook or a workbook. So if you have a child who's a workbook or worksheet kind of kid, go for it. I'm not gonna hold you back. But if you're like me and you had a child who was not workbook based, then just skip it. Don't even force it. It's not even worth it. I'll just save you the pain right now. Just take it from me. Don't even push it. Everyday life. Have your child sit and cook with you and show them the recipe and the fractions while you're measuring things. Count how many cups you're putting of flour into the muffin dough. You can play songs with them, skip counting songs for math. Also for letter recognition, you can pick a phonics program. If they're not quite ready for reading, then I would recommend doing just letter recognition. Pick a letter of the alphabet, learn how to draw it, write it in chalk, read some books that have to do with that letter, and there you go. That's your preschool. Like seriously guys, the curriculum that I used, that's all we did, and we loved it. It was so much fun, and you don't have to have a curriculum purchased to do those things. Just show them everyday life, show them the letters, show them the numbers, and they will learn to read, I promise. And I'm just gonna say, disclaimer right here, don't push them to read too early unless they're ready, because your kids, they won't be behind. We're in a culture where they're pushing academics super early, but I recommend not pushing them too hard and letting them play, letting them blossom, and letting them just explore and learn life. Oh, and I'm gonna add this. I didn't make a sign for this, so I'm just gonna add this, but along with phonics and math, you need to do nature. So you don't need a science curriculum, you don't need a history curriculum, you just need to get outside and let them get dirty with their hands, let them explore, and the sights and the sounds and the smells. Go on walks a lot. We do a lot of walks, and if you don't live out in a super woodsy area, that's fine. Just go take a walk around your block and point out the nature that you do see. I'm sure you guys have trees and flowers and squirrels and cats and dogs, right? Nature walks were some of my favorite moments with my preschoolers. Another thing I really enjoyed is reading. Just read. Just pick books, go to the library. My favorite book lists are the Read Aloud Revival monthly book lists, and those are great. You can go into the library, put them on hold, and you've got 15 to 20 books to bring home and just read with your child. Read any time of the day. Read in the morning, read at lunch, read at bedtime. Doesn't matter. Just pick a time to read and sit and read with your child, and give them just moments to be with you and to enjoy books together and not have to try to learn to read it. All right, so my final and 5th focus I think we need to have with our preschoolers is get to know your child. So this you think would be a given, but sometimes as moms who are excited to homeschool, we just want to run ahead with the best curriculum or run ahead with our best Bible verses and do our little checklist and check off the checklist of what they're learning. We want to check off those boxes, and we want to show that we've accomplished something and taught them something, but it's really the relationship with your child that is going to be key for their whole homeschool experience, for their whole life really. And I think that's a big difference between homeschool and going to school at this age, because they get to spend time with you, mom. You're the one that they need. You're the one that they're watching, that they're learning from, and they're learning to mimic you and how you respond to things and how you say. They're learning words from how you speak. They also just want to know that you are there for them, that you love them, that you care for them, and that you want to get to know them. Like, ask them questions. What do they like to watch? What do they like to read? What do they like to play? Who do they get along with? Who do they not get along with? How does your child respond, disciplining them? And that's a huge part about homeschooling. Those are my 5 things I think we should focus on when we're teaching preschool. And if you would like to get my list of all my favorite resources for preschool, and that includes all the books that I've read that encouraged me as a homeschool mom, the podcasts, the blogs I've read, and the curriculums that I prefer, you can find the link here, find it below, and you can send me your email address and I will send you that list that has all the links included for my favorite resources that I have for teaching preschool. And I would love to share that with you guys, and I would love for you to learn more about Charlotte Mason, learn more about being a great homeschool mom at home, and that I know you can do this. So thank you so much for listening. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and please consider subscribing. I will be sharing more about how I homeschool and how you can homeschool with the most affordable resources out there. Thanks, and have a great day.